This is a HeadGum podcast.
Folks, it's time to get Quip. Me and Joe do it. It makes toothbrushing easy. Brushing your teeth, just like making love. The kind of thing you don't really know if you're doing it right till you start doing it right. And folks, Quip is brushing done right. It's the new electric toothbrush that packs just the right amount of vibrations into a slimmer design at a fraction of the cost of bulkier traditional electric brushes. It has guiding pulses that alert you when to switch sides, making brushing just the right amount of effortless. It's true, you really don't have to think about it. It lets you know when to move on to another quadrant of your mouth. Quip also comes with a mount that suctions right to your mirror and unsticks to use as a cover for hygienic travel anywhere, whether it's going in your gym bag or your carry-on. And because the thing that cleans your mouth should also be clean, Quip subscription plan or subquiption plan, surprised they didn't think of that, I'll have to let them know, refreshes your brush on a dentist-recommended schedule. They deliver new brush heads every 3 months for just $5, including free shipping worldwide. Quip's backed by a network of over 10,000 dental professionals, including dentists, hygienists, and dental students. Most toothbrushes don't get named one of Time Magazine's best inventions of the year, but Quip did. It's time to find out for yourself why. Quip starts at just $25, and if you go to getquip.com/CU right now, you'll get your first refill pack free with a Quip electric toothbrush. That's your first refill pack free at getquip.com/CU. GETQUIP.com/CU. Folks, it's going to be love at first brush.
Howdy, folks. It's another episode of We'll See You in Hell, your favorite podcast for horror movie, sci-fi, and fantasy film commentary, reviews, discussions, and such. Today, what's on the palette? Well, I'm going to tell you guys what's on the palette or the docket or whatever the fucking expression is. We're going to be reviewing Helen Mirren's Winchester today.
Winchester? I barely knew her. I certainly didn't Winchester her.
And that's my dear friend and partner, Patrick Walsh.
Hello, folks. Yeah, we are going to talk to you about Winchester. Joe and I, for the first time, dialed it up in Sin City together, Las Vegas, Nevada. I went out. I saw him open for Bobby Slayton.
Yes.
I tell you, folks, this was a tense evening of comedy. Bobby Slayton's whole thing is, he plays it like it's 1975. He's going after minorities. He's going after sexualities. He's going after ladies. And Joe kind of went the same way.
Oh, I did not.
I'm not. It's not a criticism. You played to the room. But it was.
At what point did I go after minorities on stage? But just in fairness, Bobby's a dear friend. Just what Pat is saying is he's an insult comic.
He's an insult comic.
Which in this day, we all wonder in this day and age, how would a Joan Rivers or a Don Rickles go over? But like he's very much in that vein. And he's the sweetest guy on planet Earth.
Yes. In this day and age, it was tense. Joe. And Bobby Slayton, they did material I don't personally think you would see in L.A.
I've done it in here.
And, there were some jaws on the floor. There was some heckling. There was a tense couple minutes where Joe was like, "What'd you say to me? What'd you say to me?" It was a wild show.
Well, I got heckled over the homeless joke, which I've done many times in L.A.
That was a fairly innocent joke.
Yeah, I said...
She was like, "Boo."
But I like it stricken from the record, Your Honor. I did not go after minorities and gender.
Joe, you're taking this too personally. I'm just saying it's a Vegas showroom. Anything goes. I mean, This was at the South Point Casino, which was a real trip.
It was a fun...
Way off the strip.
It was a fun night of clubby comedy. You know what I mean? It was fun. It was very fun, and it was a good time. I was happy you were there. The next night, the crowd was much looser.
Good.
And it was more fun, and it was just more like everybody was kind of enjoying themselves. But this is the thing as a stand-up that does the road. When you start getting pushback at all, your knee-jerk is, well, now I want to be worse. Right. So I think that was happening with every comic that night, where it was kind of like, well, if you guys are going to be fucking assholes about tamer jokes, well, then fuck off, you know?
Yeah, I mean, my only point is that it was just kind of like a show I hadn't seen in a while.
I get your point. Evening. You want to talk down. You want to say I'm better than you.
For Christ's sake.
Hey, look at me, everybody. Look at my big dick.
Some people are woke. I'm gesturing to myself. Some people are still fucking asleep, and I'm gesturing to Mr. Joe DeRosa.
I don't care for your cis perspective.
We did some gambling. It was cool to meet, like, you know, some of Joe's fans who are just the dregs of society.
All right. Can you stop with this, please?
No, I'm kidding. That guy we gambled with, you know, he was betting $10,000 on the Super Bowl, and he won.
He won. So, that guy was awesome.
That guy was one of my favorite guys. He's in... he was coming from Florida. I could have partied with him all weekend. I assumed he had some good blow.
Saw him the next day.
Yeah.
He... Because okay, so basically, Pat and I were going to go see Styx with my agent TJ.
I didn't even know if I knew Styx, but I knew some Styx.
And I turned to Pat halfway through. We were going into the show like, even my agent when he gave us the tickets was like, "Yeah, you guys probably don't want to come to this," but we were like, "We'll go. Let's go. We're in Vegas."
I'm glad we did.
I didn't know if I was going to like it. Halfway through the show, I turned to Walsh. I go, I think I love Styx. And you said, I think so. It was great. But the night before, we were...
Oh, mama, I get here for my love of the law. The law.
That song is awesome.
Yeah.
The night before, we were playing blackjack with a guy that was at the show.
Yes.
Who was the nicest dude in the world. Very cool. But did... In all fairness, he looked like he'd be like the bag man in a heist movie or something.
That's why I loved him.
Yeah, but we were debating on if Renegade was a Styx song or not, and nobody knew. But Pat and this guy said that they thought it was. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, and the dealer was like, "Well, that's KC and the Sunshine Band." I said, "No, it isn't. It's fucking Styx."
So we were all just debating this for a good hour at the blackjack table, but then the next day, I was walking down to the casino floor, and that guy came running up to me, the fan guy, and he was like, "Joe, the jig is up, the noose is out." He's like, "I can't get that fucking song out of my head."
We were singing it all night.
It sticks.
We were singing it all night.
Yeah, and so that was funny. And then also, when I was driving home on Sunday, because Slayton gave me shit the entire weekend about going to see Styx.
Right.
He's like, "Oh, Christ, they suck."
Yeah.
Ugh. You know, like he just wouldn't let off.
Right.
So then I was driving home, and he called me while I was driving back from Vegas, and I answered the phone, and he just goes, "Lady!" Oh, God, they fucking suck.
Yeah.
How horrible was it? I go, I was actually great. I was like, I think you would have liked it, man.
Well, they didn't play Lady unless we missed it.
We missed it. It was one of the 3 songs we missed.
They did play
which I was fine with.
I'm sailing away.
What a fucking song that is.
It was a lot of fun. But this dude, this is how little I care about football, but he said he's in town for the Super Bowl.
The bagman guy.
Yeah. He goes, "My wife's passed out on edibles upstairs." He goes, "But I'm dropping $10,000 betting on Philadelphia." And I was like, "Good luck, man." And when they won, I was over at the Cosmopolitan watching the Super Bowl at a little Super Bowl party, but genuinely not giving a shit. And everybody's cheering, and all I could do was think, that dude just probably made himself a nice chunk of change. I'm happy
what
for that
what
guy.
do you think he won? Just $10,000, or do you think he won like $30,000 or something? I don't know how that works.
No, I mean there's odds and stuff, but you wind up they take a cut. Like you have to. I don't know. You wind up winning maybe. If that's right, I wish I had bet fucking $10,000. But I think if you bet 100 and they win, you get back like 80 or something.
Okay, so he probably walked with $8,000.
But there was some sort of point spread, and I have such a gambling bug in my brain that I never even got into sports betting. Because I'm like, if you don't even know what sports are about, why would you ever do this? So I don't want to learn the rules. It's why I won't learn craps. I don't need more vices. I do my blackjack. I do my video poker. I love to gamble. I
got to tell you something, folks. I walked into the casino. They said, "Sir, we have a craps table." I said, "No, thanks. I'll do mine in the bathroom." Folks.
Yeah, it's interesting. I said, "Hey, where in the casino is your most risky gambling?" And they said, "Well, the buffet's right over there." Folks. Joe and I did eat at the South Point buffet. I stuck to the fruit largely, and fruit and meatballs is what I had. But
barbecued meatballs. Don't leave that detail out. But it comes back with these meatballs. They're covered in a red sauce that was not marinara.
They were barbecue meatballs.
Yeah.
Look, it wasn't the nicest place, but I had a nice time.
I had fun. I like the South Point because it's got that like sort of old downtown-y Vegas, Atlantic City kind of vibe. But I also like the Cosmo. We were up at the Cosmo for a night, and it's flashy and it's fun and it's cool and you feel cool being there. But it's a little out of my league, you know. Their minimum bet table is like $25.
Right.
I just can't. I'm a low stakes guy. A low stakes guy. And Pat Saul, we gambled side by side many times that weekend. My luck sucks. Yeah, you just saw what I was getting dealt. I just have bad luck with it.
And as you saw, after a lifetime of terrible luck, I can't lose at gambling. Something snapped in me, and it was the kind of thing where
pictured an arrow coming through crashing through the sliding
door.
You
always say that, and then
your head.
Something happens. But I mean, it was the kind of weekend where, like, I'm at the South Point. I sit down. I beat Joe there, and I texted him like, "I'm just sitting down. I'm here," and I immediately get a royal flush. I don't even want to tell you how much I won, but it was sick.
I got to be honest. I don't care to hear again
how
much you won because it made me sick.
But then
Pat won so much. I swear to God, this is true. And I said this to Kurt Braunohler the other day.
Yeah.
Pat won so much money in Vegas, I honestly contemplated saying to him, just give me $1,000. What does it matter?
I got to tell you,
give me $1,000.
That is how people treat you when you're winning money. And I've got a story about that as well. But it was the kind of night, and this is what happens when I go to Vegas. I was walking up to bed, me and Joe goes in to buy some lube or something at the gift shop. And while I'm waiting for him, because I'm a compulsive gambler, I sit down to put $20 in this slot machine. I don't even like playing slots. And while I'm waiting for Joe, I push the button. I win $86. I don't even know what I did. And I just cashed out and was like, that's just an additional $66 I just won before going to bed.
Oh, for God's sakes.
But anyway, here's a little story about society. It's a story with a larger point to make. So Joe went home Sunday morning, and I stayed a couple extra days at the Cosmo. I went to the Super Bowl party, and I gambled. Having a nice time, and I go over to Planet Hollywood. It's a little more fun, a little more vibrant. And I'm gambling, and I win a jackpot. I'm sorry, folks. Of $3,010.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm like, woo! Excited. I'm sitting there. I'm waiting for them to bring me out the money. They bring you out and hand you the cash.
Right.
This woman comes and sits next to me. She looks like she's in between having a home and being homeless.
Uh-huh.
And sure enough, that's exactly what the case was. And she's like, how are you? She goes, I'm having the worst luck. I'm 36 years old. How old are you? I'm like, yeah, I'm the same age.
Right.
She goes, boy, we're in two different places. I mean, I just moved out of here from Staten Island. My boyfriend was supposed to meet me, and then he dumped me. I got no place to live.
Right.
I got three kids.
This was a Neil Simon character.
Yeah,
sat down
exactly.
At the table. Okay.
I got 3 kids back home. Obviously, one of them's 21. I'm like, okay, you're 36. All right. She goes, but she's got no money to send me, and then
no money to send me. They could still be college roommates, for Christ's sakes. Talk about back to school.
She goes, my mom, she's laid up and sick, and she's got no money to send me, and I'm stranded out here, and the details of the story are not quite adding up. You know, I'm like, why did you move to Vegas without having a home? But
something's up here.
We're talking, and the frustrating thing is when you win a nice-sized jackpot like that, they intentionally take forever bringing it out in the hopes that you
will lose it.
Will lose it because you're on the high of winning. So I'm sitting there, and for 20 minutes, this woman is bitching about her life to me, and it didn't have the feeling of sadness because it felt like a hustle to me. But I'm like, okay, that's really bad. And I'm saying, like, look, I wish you the best. I'm so sorry. I'm hoping for you. She goes, I got to tell you, I mean, like you right here, you got $3,000. I mean, if you gave me just, 300 of it, that's my first dinner in a week and a plane ticket home. I can get a plane ticket home for $250. So you'd really be doing me a favor with that 300. And I'm like, so we're just skipping right beyond like, hey, could I have a little money? Because she's waiting for me to offer it to her. We're asking for a specific large dollar amount, but you could tell in her mind she's like, what do you need it for? You just got $3,000.
Right.
I won it. Right. I gambled and I won. That's what you're supposed to do. Do I donate it to charity each year? I absolutely do. Am I going to hand it to this woman? I don't know. I don't think so.
Now, in all fairness, I don't think throwing a $20 chip in a homeless man's face outside of the casino counts as donating to charity.
He appreciated it.
And then also, it doesn't help that you say get a job as you do it.
Wiped it through the crack of my ass and threw it up. But no, I'm talking to this woman, and I'm saying just nice, sweet things to her, and I'm honestly wondering where it's going to go. Because in Vegas, a lot of times you're talking to someone, and the other hammer drops. I'm a prostitute. I'm this. I'm that. And I'm like, where's this going? And finally, she says to me, like, you could really change my life here. You could save my life. And she's trying to like look me in the eyes, and I'm not looking her in the eye. And I'm essentially whistling. I pretend to get a phone call. I stand up, so I'm like, hey, yeah, I'll be over there in a little bit. Yeah, no. Oh, okay. Doing the whole bit, a completely made-up phone call because I'm still waiting for them to bring out my money. Then I'm going to be sitting next to this woman with $3,000 in my pocket who's basically like, she said to me at one point, I mean, I'm not somebody who's going to steal. I don't ever want to be somebody who steals. She's drinking an extra large, like 44-ounce Starbucks iced coffee.
This is their cooler that they sent over.
There's something going on.
It's their cooler.
They come out. They hand me the money. They want to give it to you all in hundreds.
Oof.
They do. I'm putting it into my wallet. And then at the end, I said, hey, could I get 20s for this 100, whatever I said. They hand it to me. I give the woman $20. She's sitting there for a minute, and she goes, oh, so it's just going to be a 20?
I love that. Wow, that's guts.
This is a complete stranger that I am handing $20.
Right.
Who, honestly, I think is just bullshitting me, frankly.
Of course, yeah.
But, I was like...
That's the sad state of the world we're in. You have to window shop homeless people at this point because there's so many people that are taking advantage of... It's disgusting. It's a horrible reality we live in.
I give her the $20. She's seeming like very disappointed, and she walks a little bit away, kind of looks back at me, gets out the cell phone and is talking on her cell phone with this giant Starbucks. I'm like, is somebody going to slit my fucking throat now? This is where Vegas, it always takes a turn. This is like 4 p.m., like on a beautiful day, like there's always this weird element there that's just uncomfortable.
Sure.
So she walks away, and I'm sitting there, and I'm excited with my $3,000. I'm like, I need to get out of here. And they go, oh, shoot, we didn't bring you your W-2. They have to hand you a W-2.
Oh,
they go back to get it. This woman comes up. She goes, can I get you a drink? Bartender there. The drinks are free in Vegas if you're gambling, and you tip them all $1. This is what everyone knows, $1 a drink. It's standard. If you're a billionaire or poor, you have to tip them $1. It's a free drink.
Of course, yeah.
This lady comes over, big sassy broad. She goes, can I get you anything, honey? And I go, no, I'm good. And I go, you know what? I got another wait while they go up to get my my form. Sure. I said, I'll have a vodka soda. She goes, okay. Comes back with it. She goes, oh, look at you. You won, because it's still flashing. Hey, everybody, this guy just won $3,000 cash. She goes, look at you, big winner here, big winner. And I go, yeah. Then I hand her the 20, and I said, can I get change, please, to tip you? She goes, like, puts her head so far away from me like she's going to puke.
Right.
Leans back, and she goes, you just won $3,000, and you need change for the tip?
What were you going to tip her, just out of curiosity?
5?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just sort of like staring at her, and I go, well, yeah. I said, I have 100. I go, I this is what I have is a 20. She says, you can't just give me the 20. You just won $3,000. I go, you know what, lady, take the 20. She puts it in her pocket and walks away. Hands her the drink, shaking the head. Then she comes over and she's like, you good, sweetie? You need another one? I go, no, I'm fine.
Wow.
Walks away. I'm like, I'm getting shook fucking down here.
Well, I don't know who I agree with in this. The first one I agreed with you. The second one,
I have to tip a waitress $20 for a drink that she walks a foot away to get and hands me simply because I won money?
all right, fair enough.
It's insane to me.
Fair enough.
I mean, I'm not a cheap man. I am a very good tipper. I go over 20%. But everyone knows the arrangement is $1. Me winning doesn't mean everyone around me is suddenly owed a lot of money.
It's a gross town, and it's filled with hustlers and people that are looking for breaks and whatever, and it's, you're going to encounter that a little bit.
In both cases, I gave complete strangers who did essentially nothing for me $20 cash, and in both cases, they treated me like I was an asshole.
Well, that's shitty.
I mean, I don't even know what to say here. But
that's shitty.
I'm not in the wrong in that scenario.
I think you've said enough.
And if I had 100 in my pocket and I ask her for change, is that the same scenario?
I don't know. It's a weird town. It's a dirty, weird town.
It's a dirty, weird town. That's absolutely right.
It's
dirty, weird town. It's the Pokes.
I don't mean to rush us along here, but we've
ahead.
got a couple segments we need to get to.
Rush Limbaugh over
and
here. Rush Hour 2.
The first I'd like to drop, and I'm rearranging things a little bit, but I'd like us, per your suggestion and my total agreement, we need to do a very special crane shots today.
A very special crane shots, and I wish we were playing a mournful organ tossed salad and scrambled eggs behind us as we talk. But
the great John Mahoney is passed, who played Martin Crane on Frasier, the dad, and I am literally still sad. I got this news about a week ago. By the time this comes out, it'll be a few weeks, I think, but I'm very sad about that.
I was too. He's the heart and soul of the show. I just today finished season 1, which I know it gets better from there, but it was entertaining, of course. Frasier tweet everything about him. I was like almost emotional. Frasier's or Kelsey Grammer tweets, "He was my dad. I loved him."
Yeah,
it's like, oh,
yeah, I know. And then
everybody had a great story to
Perry
tell about
Gilpin tweeted the picture of him singing at her wedding, and you're like, Jesus Christ! It's so sad.
It was very sad. I mean, he lived a full life, but
acted until the day almost that he died. He acted like went into hospice like
he was about to open in a play. That night.
It was crazy.
He was just an awesome actor. Some movie performances I could call out. He's really great in Moonstruck as the philandering husband.
Everybody kept saying "Say Anything." I didn't.
He's awesome in Say Anything.
Who is he in Say Anything?
He is the girl's dad, who the whole movie, this like sweet romantic comedy, he's like kind of the tough ass dad. And then in the third act, it is revealed that he has been ripping off the senior citizens at the old folks' home he runs and taking their money.
Uh-huh.
And he's got like a scene where he's like, taking a Leaving Las Vegas shower, like sitting in his clothes in the bathtub crying. It's an amazing performance in a one of my all-time favorite romantic comedies.
I love him in Barton Fink.
He is awesome in Barton Fink. He was good in everything he ever did. He was a great actor. And, the fact that he's best known for Martin Crane, I'm sure he'd be happy about that because it was a hell of a character.
I agree. And I will keep this Crane Shots brief with my favorite, reminiscing about my favorite Martin Crane scenario that I've ever seen on the show, which was when Frasier and Niles discover a shoebox, that's Martin's, and he won't tell them what's in it. And then they find out what's in it is there's songs that he wrote for Frank Sinatra throughout his life.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And he's like, it's stupid. I don't want to, and they're like, Dad, let's put one to music. And I think the song is called like,
She's a groovy lady.
She's a groovy lady.
Yeah.
That's the one he wants to do more. And the lyrics are absurd. It's just like, she makes my heart go babby booby. Like, ridiculous. But the funniest part in the whole thing is him trying to instruct Niles what to do, like orchestrally with the piano, like how the music's supposed to go. And like Niles will like play these chords, and he's like, no, not like that. It's gotta go swabbity beep bop boom swag. And it's a very, very funny.
I'm excited to get to it.
I'm a Sinatra fan, and
Yes.
I that was a very, very funny joke. And then there's a line he has in another episode where they're at a breakfast buffet, and he comes back with his plate, and he goes, look, Frage, pigs in a blanket on an omelet pillow, and oh look, it snowed cheese.
All right.
Marty Crane, rest in peace. We'll miss you, Mahoney.
John Mahoney, fantastic actor.
Into Pat's movie corner. I've got nothing for it.
I'll keep it brief. I saw a couple things. All right, here's the deal. So my good friend Brett, we're going to see a picture, and we're meet up at the Cheesecake over at the Glendale. For my first meal of solid food in 10 days, I had the salad.
Because you were doing the fast.
Right.
Or the cleanse, excuse me.
And we're looking through these titles, and I'm like, we might just have to pack it in unless we want to see something for a second time. There was nothing to see.
I remember the day you went. I was like, what are you going to go see? There's nothing to play.
We're about to see Paddington 2, which people have been raving about.
Jesus
and we're
Christ.
like, we're two grown men. I mean, we can't do this. And Brett goes, look, you're going to make fun of me, but my favorite movie, perhaps, of the year was Hugh Jackman, The Greatest Showman.
Oh, my God.
A musical about P.T. Barnum.
Right.
I laughed, but, I have similar tastes to this guy. I'm like, really? It's good? He goes, it's really good. I don't hate the occasional musical. I think there's been almost no good ones in recent years. But I'm like, well, I'll trust you on it. I didn't even consider that an option, but let's go. This thing's been critically panned. It didn't even do well money-wise. I didn't even know Michelle Williams was in it. She's the lead in it with him.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I sit down to this thing. The opening number starts up. I got both elbows on my knees, enchanted, leaning into the screen, riveted. And there were people there who were clearly seeing it for their 20th time.
Really?
Like singing the songs and shit. I thought it was great, and it is such a testament to how, critics can just immediately just shit on something, and then you just never think of it again.
Right.
I mean, it's so good, and especially if a critic's job is supposed to be evaluating something within its genre. If you're evaluating this thing as a modern-day musical, it's the best one in 15 years.
Well, now I want to see it.
It's extremely entertaining. And
please.
The songs are great. It's the same guys who wrote the music for La La Land, which I don't think was the strongest part of that movie. But these are good songs. And then also, you're getting lavish dancing musical numbers by circus freaks. Bearded Lady.
Oh, I love that.
Dwarves.
All right.
And they have their whole story of their complete outcast in the town.
Yeah.
And he's like, come on, come do this for me. And they're like, you're just going to exploit us and laugh at us, which is, of course, what P.T. Barnum did. There's a little revisionist history here.
Sure.
He assures them that's not the case. But as he starts getting more and more successful, he becomes an asshole in the way these old musicals used to be. He's abandoning his wife and kids. He's not letting the freaks into the fancy parties he's getting invited to now.
Yeah, yeah.
I tell you, I loved the story. I loved him and Michelle Williams, and I loved the songs. I thought it was a great movie.
Now, please.
I'm overselling it a bit. It's a B+, but if you like musicals at all, there's no way you would not like this movie. And I'm really confused as to the critical response. There's some of the there's like cool dancing and singing. I had a good time. I don't know what to say.
Please tell me there's a bustling sort of tension number. It's show time. Got to get these elephants washed. Why isn't the clown on the rope yet? Is there one of those things?
I mean, the first number's like the curtain's going up.
Yeah.
Snaps, you know. It's
all right.
It's really entertaining.
All right, I'll check it out.
And I'd say it's one to see at the theater. It's a spectacle, and there's trapeze artists and all kinds of shit. It's fun.
Very good.
It's fun.
Pat, I'm bringing back an old segment we haven't done in a while.
You don't even have one for.
No, but that's why I'm bringing back this old segment.
Okay.
Because I haven't really been watching much. I've been playing a lot of video games, not watching much. And,
all right.
And I thought I could do a scary stuff, but I'd actually like to bring in an old segment that never had a title. Remember we said we were going to do news stuff?
Yes.
That was horror related, like horror movie related, I mean. So a new segment called News Psycho, as in news cycle.
Like news cycle.
There you go.
Yeah.
Pat, I can't wait to talk to you about this because, folks, I got to be honest with you. Our review of Winchester is going to be pretty goddamn brief. I dread even having to talk about. We'll get to it. Shape of Water. We've discussed it at length on this show.
Shape of Water.
We've discussed the disturbing nature of an Oscar-nominated film having a bestiality scene in it.
It's the whole plot of the film. Yeah.
There is for sale, and it is selling like hotcakes.
Okay.
Where they're tweeting like, "Get it now because we just did a repro and they're going to be gone again." A Shape of Water inspired dildo.
Oh no.
That is a green and blue dick. Assumingly the fish's dick.
Are there scales?
No, it looks sort of like a human dick.
Okay.
But it sort of doesn't, and it's
sizable?
Green and blue. Yeah, it's
Girthy?
huge.
Okay.
Yeah. People are buying this to fuck it. People are buying this thing to fuck it.
Do they have on the box Octavia Spencer going like, "What's that fish dick look like?"
The review I read,
essentially one of her lines in this front runner for Best Picture,
or the article I read about it said like this is even a gag in the movie. Like Octavia Spencer japes about the fish dick or whatever.
Yeah,
and then it said
it's the front runner for Best Picture.
Yeah, and it said and it literally said this in the article. Hey, apparently there are many people out there that are envious of the woman that gets to fuck the fish. So these people are buying a fish. What the fuck is going on?
I mean, I get it as a gag gift, but you just know there are people who that movie was like, thank God someone gets me and my desire to fuck a fish man, and the dildo was just the cherry on top. It's troubling.
Here's why it needs to stop. Because we need to remain a progressive society.
Yeah.
And when this starts happening, when the fish dick dildo craze starts happening,
yeah,
it means that my grandfather, who was angry and hated everything, was closed-minded and prejudiced, it means there was a hair of value in his argument when he would go, "Well, what's next? You gonna fuck fish?"
Yeah. And our answer was, you know what? Yeah.
And we all said, no, that's ridiculous. We need to be progressive. Stop it. That's got nothing to do with this. We have to put a stop to fish fucking fantasies. It's not right. It's weird. It's weird. Please, can we just keep it amongst the humans?
Joe, you're going to get no disagreement from me on this point. That is our new segment, News Psycho.
It was the best I could do on short.
I don't hate it.
You said on the other podcast it sounds like Barbara Walters saying cycle.
News Psycho, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with.
How about Screamin' In? I like News Psycho. We'll stick with it.
Well, listen, I'm just trying to think.
I tell you, I always was sort of indifferent to Barbara Walters, and I have such hatred for her now after watching that clip, because that's another one for Pat's Movie Corner. I finally watched that documentary about the undercover pedophile ring that they're showing for free because they couldn't get a release for it. It names names of people. It's PG-13. Believe me, I did not want to download the movie.
No, but it names. What do you mean it names like of people in like Hollywood?
It's
or something?
a documentary. It's by the same woman who made "Deliver Us from Evil," which was the documentary about the sex scandal in the Catholic Church.
Okay.
And it is about the pedophilia pandemic in Hollywood, and they name names. These actors, these
who do they name? Dish the dirt.
Well, that's the thing. I think due to fear of lawsuits on such a low-budget movie, they're naming names that are pretty low in the totem pole.
Okay.
But they're guys who are still working. The one that's supposed to topple Nickelodeon is this guy Dan Schneider.
Okay.
Who runs all these Nickelodeon shows. He's this big fat guy.
Oh, the guy from Head of the Class?
Guy from Head of the Class.
Oh, no. Really?
Not just really, but like he gets in, he finds out, people with like weak stage mom parents, these beautiful young girls, including Ariana Grande and all these people, and fucks them, molests them. He has a foot fetish. He's still, while this is all going on, he'll tweet on Twitter, "Send me pictures of your feet." He's that guy who's asking these young girls that are his audience to do that.
As he runs children's TV shows, he's
Correct.
publicly saying, "Indulge me in my fetish."
Correct. And one of the actors from those shows is a convicted child molester who still works like side by side with him. And what they do is they start giving...
it's not the other guy from Head of the Class, is it?
No one from Head of the Class.
No, because he was on Head of the Class, but then the other guy, the guy that played like the leather jacket kid on Head of the Class, also used to work with him in doing like
what's
kids
his name?
TV shows.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't want to incriminate.
I
the
think
guy.
they would have mentioned that. Yeah, let's not. But they have so much stuff, and they go into Bryan Singer and stuff like that as well.
Good.
But Dan Schneider, Jamie Lynn Spears, who is Britney Spears' sister, the rumor that is apparently about to be broken by Ronan Farrow, that's the thing that eventually topples it because these people all sign these agreements, and the parents get so addicted to the money, they don't even report the stuff when it comes out.
Jesus Christ.
So...
I forgot to mute the TV
all right.
again.
It's
Sorry.
all right.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Jamie Lynn Spears' baby is allegedly, and this is apparently just waiting to break, his baby, that he impregnated her when she was
Fat
a child.
guy.
The fat guy's baby. And she never said who the father was. She's a big celebrity. That is the rumor there. Amanda Bynes, who everyone mocked for years, this crazy bitch, she's insane. Look at what she's writing on Twitter.
Right.
She has started to come out and start tweeting and saying, like, I'm an adult now, and I may have been under an NDA, but I'm not anymore. This guy raped me, et cetera, et cetera.
Jesus Christ.
And it appears to be about toppling. If you want to watch this video or this feature-length movie, you Google it, but if that's something you want to put into your Google search. I did not. I definitely toyed with not doing that. But it's a legitimate movie, and you can watch it for free.
It's not a child porn movie. It's a movie saying...
It's actually a PG-13 movie,
Yeah.
I think, to cover that.
But also, what's this got to do with Barbara Walters, though?
Because she's on the thing. I think I talked about this on a previous one where... I always go on these tangents. But Corey Feldman is on there trying to talk to her about it, and she keeps cutting him off.
Oh, okay.
And going like, you're trying to throw an entire industry under the bus, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Telling Corey Feldman, who's saying, I was molested by these people.
Right.
You're making a fool of yourself. I thought she was disgusting, and this happened like 2 years ago. It's not like
Jesus
a 70s
Christ.
clip she regrets. Anyway, that's not a fun watch, but if people have been talking about this shit for a long time, and I think there's got to be at least some truth to it. So,
Well, after you hear that, the fish dildo doesn't sound so bad.
look, I'd certainly prefer someone make love to a fish dildo than a child.
Oh, my Lord.
That's true.
There was a man, apparently the video's gone viral in some respect, that in Philly that ate horse shit after the Eagles won.
I saw that.
I didn't see it yet. But my friend was talking about it and kind of saying it was it was weird. And I said, who's he hurting?
I agree.
He's not hurting anybody.
Who's he hurting?
He's eating shit of a horse.
Yeah.
He's not doing anything to the horse.
We all celebrate in different ways. That movie, by the way, is called An Open Secret. It's free because they want people to see it.
Where can you see it? Like on YouTube?
Google An Open Secret free, and they tell you at the top, this is a PG-13 movie. We want people to see it and get the word out. Please watch. It's free. Check it out if you want.
And on to our review of something almost as tragic as what we're talking about. It's a little film called Winchester, starring Helen Mirren, about Lady Winchester, the widow of the guy, Mr. Winchester, whatever his name was, who created the Winchester rifle.
Right.
And the family, had a lot of so-called blood on their hands because this rifle was used in a lot of the slaughtering of many people and in wars and all these things. Lady Winchester, in her later years, now widowed, feels tremendously guilty about it and has built what is known as the Winchester Secret House, I think it's called.
Now, I have, early in my relationship with Heather, she got us a weekend getaway to Monterey, and one of the sites she planned on this weekend getaway was the Winchester House. So I have been there, and I texted Heather that I was going to see it, and she was like, oh, apparently they shot some of it in the house, see if any of it looks familiar. And I was like, oh, right, fuck, I've been to the Winchester House.
Okay.
And I got this text right before the movie started, so I was really excited to watch it because I really enjoy. That's a great tour to take if you're in Northern California. It's really fun and cool and creepy. But boy, this movie...
Well, here's the problem. So if you don't know the story, the reason this house is so renowned is that she built it literally 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They were continually constructing rooms, deconstructing rooms. They'd build something, then they'd demolish it. And her take on this was these rooms were being... Some people say she was building the rooms to make the house maze-like so the ghosts of the dead that were slaughtered couldn't find her and haunt her. In the movie, they say she was building these rooms because it was giving the ghosts a chance to come home and have their reckoning and be at peace and they could forgive her or whatever. Look, it's a tremendously interesting story. It's a fascinating backstory with a fantastic social commentary that they do at one point mention in the movie, which is, look, you can't have guilt. You can't be guilty for somebody using your product in the wrong way. That's not your fault.
Right.
There was a lot of opportunity here to kind of hear both sides of that argument, to examine the paranoia of this woman, to delve into whether it was justified or not, to delve into whether or not this place was actually haunted or not. And at the end of the day, I thought it was going to be essentially sort of like a Foxcatcher with like horror elements. Like, let's go into the world of this billionaire.
Would have loved that because I fucking love Foxcatcher.
Who lives in this weird, sprawling estate and is very enigmatic and reclusive and we don't know where this is going to go and if they're stable or what. I was so excited, and they took this thing and they turned it into a definite horror movie Conjuring ripoff, and it sucked. It fucking sucked. They made it so there was no doubt that the place was haunted. Everybody is seeing the ghosts.
Yeah.
People that don't believe in ghosts are interacting with ghosts who are posing as butlers in the house.
Right.
The scares were cheap.
The scares. I mean, there was nothing even remotely scary.
It sucked.
The guy is Jason Clarke, the guy from Zero Dark 30, and a great show that I, for some reason, keep mentioning on here called Brotherhood, this show that used to be on Showtime.
He was also Connor in Terminator Genesis.
Yes. I liked him in this movie. I liked Helen Mirren. They do what they can, because I do try to say something positive. But to tell you how forgettable and empty and just like joyless this movie was, Joe and I saw this movie on Saturday morning. This hotel had a theater in it, which was kind of cool, with the intent to then review it for the podcast.
Right.
We watched the movie on Saturday. Last night, Thursday night, I'm like, so what do we want to do on this podcast? And Joe's like, Winchester. I had forgotten that I had seen it. And I'm not kidding you. I had forgotten that I had seen a movie I saw 4 days prior, because that is it. the perfect word for this thing is forgettable. It's not like it's terribly shot or something like that. It's just the most boring, forgettable telling of a really cool story, and I think we both agree it could have been an awesome movie.
And it started cool. The opening is creepy.
Yeah, it's the time period's kind of interesting. But
there's weird shots before you get to meet the character. There's weird shots of Helen Mirren walking around the house with a candle and a black veil, and it's really cool and creepy and whatever. And then they get into the house, and as soon as John Connor gets into the house, it is immediately just like, oh, who gives a shit anymore? Like, he's seeing ghosts immediately in the, well, fuck this. This is stupid.
Yeah. And then they'll introduce something cool, like that little intercom system. So she's like, each one of these tubes goes to a different room of the house. If you whisper into the tube, the person in that room will hear it.
Yeah, it's like 1902 or whatever.
Right.
So you're like, oh, that's really cool.
You're like, what a great setup for some cool horror action coming up, and they do fucking nothing with it.
The movie sucks, people.
It's a must miss.
Yeah, I can't. I was just going to say I can't in any way recommend anybody to see this thing.
Hogs.
I think it had about a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes. I try to give stuff the benefit of the doubt. And I really went, and again, the first 15, 20 minutes I was in, and then this fucking thing went from nowhere to worse.
Folks, Winchester? More like Lose Chester. All right.
Which, speaking of which, of other poorly reviewed films that we'll be discussing at some point on this podcast, I haven't watched it yet, but the Cloverfield Paradox is now at a 13% or something on Rotten Tomatoes. People are really saying it sucks.
People hate it, but that is one that we will definitely do because I really liked Cloverfield and I really loved Cloverfield Lane, 10 Cloverfield Lane. So I'm excited to watch it. We'll be doing that as well.
Well, apparently the problem is that the last this happened with Cloverfield Lane and it worked.
Yeah.
It was a movie called The Cellar.
Right.
They shoved it into Cloverfield. It worked.
Right.
They said this one was also a different movie. They shoved it in. And they're like, yeah, it doesn't. It's just a shitty sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. We'll see. But I'm curious to see.
Curious as well. And also coming up, we have we're going to do Blade and Blade 2. I think that's pretty much it, folks. Also, the bonus Patreon episode this month is a return to the commentary format. We just recorded it. It's very, very funny, and it is The Craft. I put out a request for requests for that film, and all of you fucked that up. So we just decided to do The Craft. So check that out. It's Patreon. You can sign up at, Joe, the address, if you will.
Patreon.com/WSYIH pod.
There it is.
There's also merch available now.
The Hog House.
At the Hog House store on Etsy. And that's it, right? I think. We're on Instagram, See You in Hell Pod. We're on Twitter, WSYIH pod, and that's it. Anyway, and I'm doing a big tour in April, so I'm going to be posting the date soon, releasing. They might actually be out now by the time this comes out, but I'll probably be coming through your town if you're in the Northwest, Midwest region in April. Joe DeRosa Comedy on Twitter and Instagram, Joe DeRosa Info for tour details.
I'm the Patrick Walsh, Twitter and Instagram. And when this airs, I think we should be getting very close to the premiere on February 26th of Living Biblically. It airs on CBS. It airs at 9:30 p.m., 8:30 Central. It's a very funny show, folks. I hope you watch and tell your friends because apparently they're not doing a lot of advertising for it. Thank you very much. I didn't do On with the Joe, so I'll just simply say On with the Joe. I'm sorry about that. Sometimes we forget.
Put a little more into it than that. Jesus Christ!
You can't say On with the Joe when the Joe is over.
How about and that's our Joe, and we end there.
And that's our Joe.
That was a HeadGum podcast.